sky split first, not with thunder, not with light, but with a sound, a trembling cry of reality being forced to accept something it was never meant to hold. And beneath that fractured sky stood Eren Yeager, the man who destroyed nations, the man who carried the hatred of centuries, and the man who now walked inside the ribcage of a colossal, bone-made titan that stretched beyond mountains. The founder titan awakened in full. Across the ocean of steaming bones and dust-filled air, a red and blue silhouette hovered silently, unmoving, unafraid. Superman had arrived. For the people watching from ruined cliffs and trembling sky fortresses, it felt like witnessing two concepts rather than two beings. Vengeance and virtue, destruction and hope, fate and freedom, meeting for the first time. And before this impossible battle began, one truth was already clear. Only one world would survive this encounter. Hook ends, narration continues naturally. This is the showdown that was never meant to happen. A war between a man who chose to sacrifice the world and a man who chose to protect it. Before we step any deeper into this collision of ideologies and power, hit that subscribe button to Genesis Vault, because today we dive into a story where even gods tremble. The wind churned into violent spirals as Superman floated closer, eyes narrowing behind the glimmer of the sun. He didn't see a monster. He didn't see a demon. He saw a boy drowning inside the consequences of his own rage. "Eren," Superman called, voice echoing like iron wrapped in mercy. "You don't have to do this." But the founder titan didn't answer with words. It answered with a quake. The ground beneath miles of titan bone vibrated like an awakening continent. Thousands of streaking, massive wall titans marched in unison, heat sizzling around their towering frames. Their shadows swallowed entire valleys. Eren's voice echoed from deep inside the titan's core, layered, distorted, ancient. "I already chose." Superman's fists tightened, not in anger, but in terrible understanding. The rumble exploded into motion. Every wall titan lunged forward, their enormous feet crushing mountains, boiling seas, turning continents into trembling mosaics of ash. The sound was deafening, like the heartbeat of a planet collapsing. Superman blurred. In the blink of an eye, he punched through the air, shockwaves cracking open clouds as he slammed straight into the nearest wall titan. One hit, one titan down. The impact split the horizon. But 10 more titans reached for him. Superman darted through their fingers like a shard of living lightning, each strike ripping apart another steaming giant. He moved faster than their colossal bodies could react, yet not fast enough to stop them all. For every titan he dropped, 100 more continued their march. And high above them, Eren watched through ancient, glowing eyes, unblinking. Superman rocketed upward, escaping a tidal swing from a titan's burning hand. He hovered thousands of meters above the battlefield, breath steady, vision sharp. He could see everything. Millions of lives in danger, a world on the brink. And in the center of it all, one boy's conviction poisoning the earth. Superman descended again, speaking directly into the founder titan's skull-like face. "Eren, this isn't freedom. This is extinction." Eren responded not with argument, but with evolution. The founder titan began changing, twisting, elongating. Massive sinews shifted like living cables. New rib structures grew like forests of bone. The monster's silhouette expanded into something even more grotesque and surreal. Something no plane, no weapon, no army could comprehend. Superman's expression darkened. This wasn't a titan anymore. This was an idea given impossible flesh. A roar, ancient, echoing, monstrous, erupted from the titan, shaking the air itself. Hundreds of the wall titans collapsed as the shockwave blasted outward, dust storms swallowing their enormous bodies. Superman dug his hands into the air to stabilize himself as cracks of red energy flared in his eyes. He didn't want this fight, but he couldn't allow the world to end for one man's grief. He shot forward, heat vision erupting in a blinding beam of pure force. The beam sliced through kilometers of the Founder Titan's towering spine, but the structure regenerated instantly, bones weaving themselves back together like threads on a loom. Eren's voice thundered again. You can't stop me, Superman. Even if you kill this body, the paths remain. I remain. Superman clenched his jaw. He had fought gods. He had fought monsters. He had fought beings who threatened universes. But this was something different. This boy was empowered by time itself, connected to the past, present, and future in ways that defied Superman's logic. The sky thundered as the Founder Titan swung an entire forest of massive rib bones toward him, each the size of skyscrapers. The bones slammed together with explosive force, but Superman zipped clear with microspeed. He punched downward. The air detonated. A crater formed in the Titan's ribcage, splintering thousands of bone towers. Steam hissed violently as regeneration fought to repair the damage. For a moment, the Titan staggered. Superman landed on one of the ribs, gripping the calcified surface with an expression carved from sheer determination. Eren, I won't let you erase a world just to escape your pain. Inside the core, Eren trembled. Not from fear, but fury. You think I'm running from pain? His voice boomed. I'm ending the cycle. No more cages. No more suffering. No more walls. The Founder Titan lurched violently, throwing Superman off its rib. Before the hero could stabilize midair, a swarm of skeletal tendrils erupted upward, slashing toward him like enormous serrated chains. They wrapped around him. Dozens. Hundreds. Each thicker than a city bridge. Superman strained as the bone tendrils constricted with impossible force, cracking the air around him. He felt the pressure building, unnatural, ancient, overwhelming. Eren's voice whispered from everywhere. You are powerful, Superman. But you are alone. And I have all of Ymir's will behind me. Superman's eyes ignited. Twin beams of heat vision erupted, slicing through the tendrils like burning threads. He ripped himself free in a burst of sonic force, chunks of bone exploding outward. He hovered again, chest rising, eyes blazing like crimson suns. No, Eren, Superman said quietly. I'm not alone. He flashed forward and smashed his fist into the Titan's malformed skull. The impact echoed across continents. The Titan's head shattered but instantly reformed, larger, more intricate, more nightmarish. Suddenly, the battlefield shimmered. Time twisted. Reality rippled. Superman blinked as the world shifted around him. 1 second, he stood above oceans of ribcage. The next, he was standing in a quiet field. A single boy sat before him. Young, wide-eyed, lonely. Eren. Age 9. A memory. Path. Eren looked up at him, eyes trembling. Why can't anyone understand? Why must freedom be paid in blood? Superman froze. He wasn't fighting a monster. He wasn't fighting a Titan. He was fighting a wounded child holding the weight of 2,000 years of trauma. But the vision collapsed just as quickly as it came. Superman was yanked back onto the Titan's ribcage as the Founder Titan regenerated with even more violence, its form mutating into a spire of infinite bone and sinew. Eren roared through the sky. I will not stop. Superman steadied himself in the air. His cape burned, his suit torn, his expression colder than steel. Then neither will I. The Titan charged. Superman charged back. Two forces collided, entropy and hope, sending shockwaves that tore across the horizon like the world's final heartbeat. And the battle had only begun. The air split open with the sound of continents tearing. Eren's Titan surged forward, bone spikes erupting like jagged lightning. Each one aimed to pierce Superman before he could react. The sky darkened under the weight of colossal power, clouds swirling into chaotic maelstrom. Every strike he made was more than force, it was a message, a statement that the world itself was his weapon. Superman didn't flinch. His fists glowed red with heat vision energy, eyes burning like molten suns. Every strike he delivered was precise, calculated, a blur faster than thought. Yet, for every titan he shattered Eren's body, his mind had already rewritten the rules of existence. Bones reformed instantly. Limbs extended. The very air seemed to bend under the will of the founding titan. And then it happened. Eren's titan stopped. Not because he was injured, but because he had chosen a new form. Its body twisted, elongating into an almost humanoid shape, but larger than anything Superman had ever faced. The sheer presence radiated ancient fury, the kind that made gods hesitate. Its eyes glowed like twin black stars, swallowing light, swallowing hope. "Do you see now?" Eren's voice echoed, layered through the bones, vibrating in Superman's chest. "Freedom is not a gift you can protect. Freedom is a weapon you must wield, and I will wield it." Superman hovered, watching the Titan shift, feeling the immense weight of a choice no mortal could bear. He understood pain, grief, loss, but this was an ideology made flesh, a world-ending conviction wrapped in bone and fury. And then the battlefield fractured. Eren slammed a hand into the ground. The shockwave erupted outward, tearing mountains in half, ripping oceans from their beds. Clouds boiled with energy, and the air itself screamed under the force. Superman was sent hurtling backward, crashing into the ruins of what had been a continent. He rose instantly, cape torn, suit scorched, body straining, but he was unbroken. The ground shifted, opening massive cracks, revealing underground rivers of molten rock and ancient Titan remnants. And through the smoke, Eren's Titan emerged again, bigger, sharper, more terrible than before. Superman clenched his fists. "Eren, I won't let you destroy everything for revenge. There's still a chance for peace." But Eren didn't answer. He didn't need to. The Titan's roar alone was an answer, carried millennia of anger, betrayal, and pain. The sound itself could have shattered mountains and reshaped continents. And then, with impossible speed, the Titan lunged. Superman met the charge head-on. Their collision created a shockwave that tore the sky in two, throwing clouds into spirals and oceans into boiling chaos. Each punch sent seismic ripples. Each block burned valleys into ash. Superman's strength matched Eren's Titan blow for blow, but he could feel the difference. This wasn't just power. This was history itself fighting through a single vessel. For a moment, everything froze. Time didn't move. Wind didn't blow. Even the screams of the earth seemed silenced. And then the Titan struck again. Superman barely blocked it, feeling the force of billions of tons crushing against him. Every fiber of his being screamed, yet he held. His arms burned, bones threatened to snap, but he held. And with a furious burst of speed, he slammed his fist into the Titan's chest. The Titan's chest cracked, but then the paths activated. Eren's body shimmered, phasing through space and time, regenerating faster than any human mind could comprehend. Superman's jaw tightened. He realized something terrifying. No matter how hard he fought, the world wasn't enough to stop this boy. Eren had become more than flesh. He was the past, the present, and the future all at once. Eren's voice cut through the storm. "I will end this cycle, even if it means ending you, Superman." Superman took a deep breath, focusing on the one thing he had learned across countless battles. Hope isn't about winning, it's about persistence. He accelerated, faster than thought, faster than sound, faster than light. Each strike he delivered tore through the Titan's bone like a scalpel through cloth. The founding Titan screamed, but Eren's voice continued, echoing through every mind connected to the paths. Pain, grief, hatred. Then came the moment. Eren extended a hand. Bone tendrils lashed outward not just to strike, but to envelop, to merge, to consume. Superman saw the pattern, the strategy. This wasn't just a fight. This was an attempt to absorb him, to bend a god into the will of a human boy. But Superman didn't hesitate. With the force of a solar explosion, he countered with every ounce of power he had. blinding heat vision combined with sonic punches and a burst of super speed. The collision created a shockwave that shattered continents and sent fragments of reality hurtling into the void. Eren staggered. For the first time, his Titan's regeneration lagged. Superman's voice rang out, loud and unwavering. "You're strong, Eren, but strength without control destroys everything you love." The boy's eyes glimmered inside the Titan's skull. Hatred, despair, and a fleeting spark of fear battled for dominance. And then the impossible happened. The Titan slowed. This massive body bent slightly, almost as if it were listening. Superman hovered, chest rising and falling. The air crackled with tension, the ground itself trembling beneath the weight of potential annihilation. For a heartbeat, the world held its breath. Eren's voice softened. I can't stop." But before he could finish, the Titan surged again. Not from Eren, but from the will of the paths themselves. Fractures in space and time caused multiple realities to bleed together. Superman understood the final truth. This wasn't a battle of fists. This was a battle of existence itself. And yet, amidst chaos, Superman smiled faintly. Not because victory was certain, but because hope never dies. With a final, earth-shattering collision, he slammed his fist into the Titan's chest again, channeling every ounce of solar energy and conviction. The Titan staggered, Eren's control wavering. The paths began to unravel. Time bent around them, creating a ripple that threatened to erase the battlefield. But Superman held firm, becoming the anchor the world needed. And then silence. Not complete, not permanent, but enough. Eren's Titan collapsed into itself, bones shattering, sinews unraveling. Superman hovered above, battered but unbroken. The sky cleared slightly, sunlight piercing the smoke and ash. Eren, human again, lay on the ground, his eyes wide, confused, vulnerable. A boy amidst the ruins of a god-killing war. Superman extended a hand. "It doesn't have to end like this, Eren. You can still choose a different path." The boy trembled. And for the first time, the weight of everything, the hatred, the power, the world-ending consequence, settled on his shoulders like a fragile question rather than a weapon. And somewhere, in the distance, the world exhaled. This wasn't the end. But it was a moment where two worlds collided and only one choice could define the future. And that future was waiting. So, if you want to dive deeper into battles that challenge gods and men alike, make sure you subscribe to Genesis Vault, because the next story might just shatter your reality completely.